Okay, great. Thanks, Don. Can you give me a little bit of information about the costs that are required of me when applying for a mortgage, other than paying for the mortgage itself?
Yeah, Matt, it really it depends, and let me explain that. If you're a first-time home buyer, you're not going to see any application fee or any fee from a broker typically when you're doing a first mortgage, because we get paid by the lenders, Matt. So there's no cost to the consumer to deal with a broker. So he gets all the benefits of dealing with a broker, but no expense, because we get paid by the lender. And we get paid based on the volume that we submit to a lender or the size of an individual mortgage. Once you've actually purchased the home, then you're going to have some costs. You're going to have your down payment, and that can be as low as 5% right up until what you can afford. So we sit down with the client, determine what the minimum down payment requirement is, also how much he wants to put down. So it could be 5%, 10%, 15%. And then in addition to that, he may have some other costs. He may have a home inspection that he wants to have done on the property. He may want, or the bank may require, an appraisal to be completed, and that would be at the consumer's expense. And then last but not least is his closing costs. His closing costs consist of things like lawyer fees, registration of the title, maybe land transfer tax, either by the province of Ontario or different municipalities may have fees involved. For example, the City of Toronto has its own land transfer tax. He's going to have maybe some property taxes that are payable on the property. So there's a lot of fees that we sit down and we try to determine and give a ballpark, pretty close, what we call a good faith estimate of what the client's going to see in terms of expenses. But for what we do, there's no fee, but he will have some other costs involved when you buy real estate. And we sit down and we try to itemize those for the client, get an idea of how much money he's going to need upon closing.
Now, are those fees typically the same, or do they change from mortgage to mortgage, client to client? Are they generally around the same area? For a purchase, they're going to be similar. Right now in the province of Ontario, if you're a first-time home buyer, you get a $2,000 credit towards the land transfer tax. So if you and I were buying the same house and you were a first-time home buyer and I wasn't, your fees would be $2,000 less than mine would be, because you're going to get that $2,000 credit. Okay. I wouldn't get it because I've already purchased a home in the past. Other than that, our fees should be pretty well the same. The only time fees may vary, again, is depending on whether there's an appraisal or there does need to be an appraisal. The amount of down payment you put down will determine some of your other fees. Okay? But they're pretty standard. So we are able to break them out depending on your situation, whether you're a first-time home buyer, second-time home buyer, whether it's a refinance or a purchase. So they will vary from each individual client. That's great. Thank you.